tea time. So I wanted to have a little discussion too on the topic of trauma. For people that have undergone really immense trauma from childhood, most likely in their formative years, you're probably dealing with the complex PTSD. And thus, because complex trauma is something that builds and builds, and in a way is like programming you, and it's creating like a pattern inside of you, and then once that pattern's been created, well now, the body has a template and it runs off that pattern or that template. So you wouldn't know any other way, like that becomes your standard operating system. Because it literally goes back in time, in generations. I mean, how many people are privy to knowing their parents, their traumas that they experienced? Have they ever spoken to you? Have you ever been able to sit down with them and gauge that information from them? I mean, the thing about trauma is that to some degree you don't need to speak to these people because they've already passed it down to you, so you are experiencing what they did. This is what generational trauma is in a way. It's like passing down the buck, like a baton until, one person from that generation or a generation finally clicks over and realizes that something's not right here, or they can see the pain or feel the pain and don't want to inflict any more pain, one on themselves and then on others. So because it's so deep, the trauma, the body and the psyche in a way want to protect you. That in a way you have created like amnesia around these traumas or these triggers, or like these emotional states. It's, that's ultimately what I'm trying to get at here, is like that there's these emotions that to some degree we are aware of because, it's in our vocabulary, but most people, if you ask them on the spot, like how they're feeling, they really can't break things down to such degree where they, understand, what's being activated within them. You were punished for trying to express anger to your caregivers. Your body over time, as that obviously occurred over your formative years, you've adapted and you've probably have come to the terms that showing any anger around my caregivers is a bad thing. So you created like that emotion of shame around that, toxic shame really. Now you're an adult with your spouse, let's just say, and anger arises in you in that moment. You almost go into this childlike state of like feeling, this shame inside of you. You don't even know what it really is, but it's something happening inside you where you feel like, I shouldn't be doing this is bad. Having healthy conflict with someone, like conflict resolution, like that is the way to approach working with anger, as opposed to like just lashing out, being violent, that's could be one of the triggers from anger. You can be around people and they trigger you, but you can't be blaming the other people, because that's in a way still going to keep you stuck and in that, same pattern and template, and it's going to be like a gradual process. There's nothing quick fix about this once because ultimately you still have to dismantle the toxic shame that you feel, because ultimately it's about becoming aware of it now and slowly like shifting and chiseling away and creating like a new template, where it's a healthier one and you're breaking down those barriers. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to touch on that. I just thought it was a topic worth discussing in these times, especially.